In our first story, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has launched the Ghana TVET service under the theme Steering Ghana's Industrialization Drive through Skill Acquisition for National Development. The service will, among other mandates, see to the administration of the TVET institutions in the country.
My job this morning is a simple one. It is to officially launch the newly born baby, the Ghana TVET service. But before I do that, it is essential to remind ourselves how we got where we are today. Before January 2017, many challenges, including the poor perception of TVET, the multiplicity of standards, testing and certification systems, and an informal TVET system that had been neglected and detached from the formal sector, affected the quality of TVET delivery in our institutions. This rendered it difficult for the sector to become the key catalyst that could spur industrialization and decent job creation for the citizens of this country. The essence of Act 1049 is to ensure that all TVET providing institutions under the 19 ministries are realigned to the Ghana TVET service. Hitherto, these TVET institutions were under umbrella bodies such as Ghana Education Services Technical and Vocational Educational Division, National Vocational Training Institute, NVTI, Opportunities Industrialization Center, Ghana, OIC, as President Kufuor mentioned in the documentary, Gender, Children and Social Protection, Ghana Regional Appropriate Technology Industrial Service, the GRATIS, Community Development Vocational Institutes, Youth Leadership and Skills Training Institutes, Social Welfare Training Institutes, Farm Institutes, and Technology Solution Centers and Integrated Community Centers for Employable Skills. This imbalance in demand and supply has been a challenge in education systems of most countries, especially in the offered at the applied technology high schools would be designed as career-based technical education, which integrates career and technical education with a rigorous academic core and industry participation. Industry participation is what will make it demand-driven. The programs will be benchmarked against international best practices and standards. Government has already designated 4 new TVET institutions across the country for this program. Ladies and gentlemen, it is gratifying to state that all TVET institutions, which are now captured under the Ghana TVET service, are included in the next academic year's computerized school selection and placement system for selection by junior high school graduates.
The Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Kwesi Opoku-Amankwa, has mounted a strong defense of its decision to procure some laptops for Ghanaian teachers following widespread criticisms. His defense comes as Education Minister Dr. Yao Osei Edichum has been hauled before Parliament on the one teacher, one laptop policy, which has triggered division and agitations amongst teacher unions who say the laptops are of poor quality and not fit for purpose. But the handing over of those laptops to teachers at O'Reilly Senior High School, Director General of the Ghana Education Service, rejected the criticism, saying the laptops are of high quality.
It's a brand name that is different. And we also have a special reason for making that brand name different. When you put the same brand, you give the same brand to them as what is on the market, you are likely to have those things. I mean, we are working with human beings. You are likely to have some on the market that may not be of the quality that we have provided, slipping into the distribution process. And we believe that giving it a unique brand name will help us as a security measure. We also went to the table and then we saw how the process that they go through to collect it. As I've also indicated, the institution, the KA Technology, has given 2-year warranty.
Now, the Secretary of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral, Reverend Victor Kusibuating, has been telling Joy News about the status of the construction of the edifice. According to him, there's more to be done in raking in funds for the construction. He spoke to Enimwa Enim Ado on the AM show.
This is not the first time that any national construction is taking place that buildings are pulled down. It makes it sad when we make Ghanaians feel that some are better than the others. When we are building roads and people's houses are being pulled down, nobody comes to talk about it. And so when we are building a national monument and just about 4 houses were built in the 1990s, all the rest were old houses. Is it just because they are judges that we are making noise about? What about those whose houses were pulled down at Kaukudi? Who spoke about it? Is it because they are vulnerable and they don't have voices? I don't think it's fair. For every good thing that you do, obviously, whether it's a road or the construction of something of national interest, it is so obvious that facilities will come down. Because if you look at the benefits of what you are yet to do and look at the benefits of the existing structure, you realize that if you are able to pull it down and build what you want to build, the income generation aspect will supersede it and can build other places for the judges. And it is very, very unfortunate that the judges themselves never for once complained. It is rather other people who were politicizing it, because there are 3 arms of government. We have the executive, we have the judiciary, and then we have the legislative. So you cannot underestimate the judiciary. The judiciary is an arm of government. So if indeed they had a problem, you and I should not be the ones fighting for the judiciary.
Now, fire has destroyed an estimated 300 acres of maize farm belonging to peasant farmers at NAKPAYA in the West Mamprusi municipality of the Northeast region. The fire also consumed several hectares of beans, cowpea and other food crops that were ready for harvesting. While investigations are underway by the National Disaster Management Organization and the fire service to unravel the cause of the fire, the farmers are suspecting a resident of a nearby community who they accused of setting the fire to collect firewood. The victims, while counting their losses, said they could neither feed themselves nor their families and have appealed for immediate assistance from the government. Elias Tanko has the rest of the story.
An estimated 90% of all the farmers in the community are said to have been affected, with most of them said to have lost their entire investment. The farmers confirmed the incident to the municipal chief executive Arimia Osomolaki, who was in the community over the weekend to commiserate with the victims. Mahama Karim is one of the victims. The fire started off of my farm before it spread wildly to engulf other farms. The fire swept through the area, burning large acres of farm crops belonging to more than 23 farmers. Large tons of maize crops and other produce have been destroyed. Women have also lost their farm crops. As we speak, more than 300 hectares of farms have been burnt by the fire. Almost every member of the community has been affected in this disaster. Another victim, Isifo Ibrahim, said most of the residents, including himself, have been left with nothing, lamenting that the incident could worsen their living conditions if they do not get any support from the government. The destruction is unquantifiable. Some have lost over 20 acres, others 50 acres and more, and we have nothing left to sustain us the next farming season. Now we fear hunger could strike because nearly 90% of the community members have lost their farm crops. So we need the government to help us with food items. Aisha Karim cultivated beans on a 3-acre farmland that was given to her by her husband following years of a campaign by NGOs for women to have access to farmlands. The fire has destroyed the entire farm, leaving the poor woman in a state of confusion and mourning. All our farm produce have been destroyed by the fire. The entire community is in a state of mourning for the past 3 days since the incident happened. We lost everything, and the government is our last hope. The incident comes less than 2 weeks after 2 children were burned to death when a rice farm was set on fire at Nasia in the area. Since the beginning of the Harmattan season 2 months ago, hardly a day passes without news of a fire outbreak in some part of the region, causing fear and panic among the people. The municipal chief executive and chairman of the Municipal Security Council, who paid a working visit to the victims, described the incident as a massive disaster.
I received the news of NAKPAYA with a lot of shocks. NAKPAYA is part of the communities that this year fire has destroyed their farms. But their case is worse. It's like almost the entire community farms have been engulfed with fire. And that is so worrying. I'm looking at how best they are going to cope up for the year.
The MCE said the assembly has been overwhelmed by the disaster and will need assistance from the top to be able to respond adequately and support the victims.
I want to use this opportunity to appeal to government to come to their aid. The people of NAKPAYA and other communities in the West Mamposi Municipal Assembly who's got their farms burnt. Others, it was the flood that came and they gave them bad harvest. We will need their support. Philanthropists, NGOs and other agencies should also come to their aid for them to survive for the year.
The MCE also observed that a mechanization center, an additional warehouse in the municipality, could help reduce the impact of bushfire and other fire disasters that continue to destroy farm crops, human lives and other valuable properties each year.
We don't have the machinery for harvest. If they were having machinery to harvest on time, I think they wouldn't have been affected by this fire. So a mechanization center in Waliwali will help our farmers. Another issue that is a problem to us is that storage. The government has given us the one district, one factory, which is helping us a lot. But it is not enough for the farmers here. If we can get an extraordinary warehouse in the West Mamposi municipality, where our farmers can store their output at the end of harvest, it will help.
Ilyasu Tanko reporting.
Now, persons speculated to be vying for various positions in the New Patriotic Party continue to flout the party's directive to refrain from mounting of billboards ahead of the annual Delegates Conference in Kumasi. Various intersection and entry points to the city have huge billboards with pictures of key party personalities welcoming delegates to the event. Though the directive prescribes possible disqualification of aspirants when nominations are opened as punishment for the offence, many are adamant of the consequence. Nanayao Jima has been looking up for the billboards in the greater Kumasi area and came through with this report.
The red, blue and white colors of the New Patriotic Party are visible on the principal streets of Kumasi. Clearly, the annual National Delegates Conference of the party being held in the city is evident. Sections of the Kumasi-Accra Road and the Kumasi-Sunyani Road have billboards of some aspirants mounted. Dominant among them is the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Efriye Akoto, who is said to be interested in the flag bearership position of the party. At Anloga Junction, 2 huge billboards of the vice president are mounted, welcoming delegates. Similar billboards, banners and T-shirts were showcased at the Ashanti Regional Delegates Conference of the NPP last October. Former Energy Minister Boakye Chairmanten Ejako, who is said to be harboring presidential ambition, has his billboards visible as well. Missing among them are billboards of Trade and Industry Minister Alan Chairmanten, who has long shown interest in the flag bearership position. Efia Kranchewa is leader of Queens, a group associated with Alan Chairmanten. She explains the group had restrained from mounting billboards following the directive.
The code of conduct, to me, I would say is just a trap, just to intimidate some people, just to intimidate some people's freedom in the party and whatsoever. So, Alan supporters, we are not happy. We are not happy with what is going on. And we are giving them up to Wednesday. We will all do the same. We will also fly our cards, we will also wear our T-shirts, we will also display our placards everywhere.
Behind me is one of the billboards that have attracted a lot of attention from persons in the Ashanti region. On the billboard is the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Many believe this is a launch of a vice presidential bid for the Energy Minister, Matthew Opoku Prempeh. But he is yet to declare the real intention behind such a billboard. But to many, it's just a billboard to welcome the delegates to the Ashanti region. The directive, signed by Director of Communication, Yao Boaben Asamoah, bans all billboards and signboards, banners or any kind of outdoor signage with images and names of members with or without the consent of individuals involved within Greater Kumasi before and during the period of the conference. It also directed the removal of all such boards mounted before the communication. Love News Check, however, revealed many of the campaign materials were erected after the release of the directive. The release prescribed the disqualification of aspirants who flout the directive as punishment. Ms. Kranchewa wants the party to enforce the directive to maintain order.
We are expecting the leaders of the steering committee to show us that they mean their words. They mean the words that they sent across. They mean the statement that they sent across to all party faithfuls, supporters and leaders.
Other persons seeking leadership in the party have also mounted similar billboards.
And with about 5 days to go for the conference, Joy News will keep monitoring the situation in Kumasi. We'll be bringing you updates. This is Joy News Today. We'll take a breather. We will be back with more. This is Joy News Today. Thanks for staying with us. Now, at least 100 shots of the single dose of Johnson & Johnson vaccine have been administered to unvaccinated travelers who arrived in Ghana today. This is in line with a no vaccination, no entry policy announced by the Ghana Health Service as part of its effort to prevent the continuous importation of COVID-19 cases into the country. Airlines will also be charged an amount of $3,500 for each unvaccinated passenger they bring into the country. But just some hours after the rule kicked in, at least 100 unvaccinated travelers have had to receive the jab or be turned away. Let's take you live to the Kotoka International Airport, where my colleague Emmanuel Kranting has been monitoring the first day of the implementation of this no vaccination, no entry policy. Manuel, let's start with the general situation at the airport so far.
Well, so Mama V, about 5 airlines have already touched down today. Many of them within the African continent. Air Cote d'Ivoire touched down at 9:55 a.m. Africa Airlines touched down at 9:30 a.m. Air Peace touched down at 7 a.m. Then Africa World Airlines also touched down at 9 a.m. Ethiopian Airlines were touched down just a short while ago at 11:20 a.m. Generally, there's been a very high level of cooperation between the airlines and then also the authorities here at the airport. In fact, The passengers also who have been brought into the country, we're told, have also exhibited high levels of cooperation with the authorities, leading to the administering of the 102. That's the specific number that we have. 102 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine have been administered as of our last check at 11 a.m. And so that is generally the situation here, Mamavi.
Do we know of any resistance and whether or not the airlines have been surcharged with this $3,500 for each passenger unvaccinated?
Well, so Amavi, what we're told is that the rule only made exceptions for flights which took off before the 12 o'clock, if you like, the midnight point of taking off for this particular rule. And so because of a time difference, of course, that's the only exception that has been made. But for now, each one of the 102 people who were unvaccinated have been given the Johnson & Johnson jab and are actually under observation currently. We do not know whether the surcharge has been effected immediately, but the prior communication that we had from the Ghana Health Service, that is supposed to be done. In fact, we're told that there was a prior notice that was issued to the airlines, and so all of them are aware of this particular rule and will be liable to the sanctions that apply.
Manuel, any updates on passenger refusals to receive the jab?
Well, currently we do not have, from our sources within the immigration service at the airport, no passenger has immediately just yet, refused to take the jab. We're told that if that situation arises, what is currently being considered is a 14-day mandatory quarantine for that person at a person's own cost. And so, for instance, if Mamavi, you arrived from the UK and touched down in Ghana and you were unvaccinated and refused to take the Johnson & Johnson single-dose jab, then you would have to be quarantined at your own cost for observation, just so that the Ghana Health Service can be sure that you are not going to take the virus, if you are indeed carrying it, into the general population and then spread it, especially as we enter into the festive season.
All right, Manuel Quanting, thank you very much for that update. Manuel is reporting from the Kotoka International Airport. About 5 airlines, he mentions, has arrived in the country after that directive kicked in, with a little over 100 passengers having taken the Johnson & Johnson jab. Meanwhile, Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esierubekwing, has justified the mandatory vaccination, insisting the public's health overrides individuals' personal choices. Elsewhere, health authorities in the Techimang municipality of the Bono East region are working towards stepping up education and sensitization campaigns to have more people accept the coronavirus vaccines ahead of the Christmas festivities. The municipality has, since the outbreak of the pandemic, recorded over 30% of the cumulative number of cases recorded across the region. There's more in the following report by Anas Sabit.
Ahead of the festive season, the Techimang Municipal Health Directorate is increasing its sensitization exercises across the municipality as a means of curbing the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Municipal Director of Health Services, Dr. Kusi Fosuni, told Joy News that the move is to help have an incident-free Christmas season.
We are very much aware that during the Christmas season, there will be lots of traveling, there will be lots of festivities, programs of various nature, church, religious, social. So as a municipality, the first thing we are doing is we are having an emergency public health emergency management committee meeting, which is headed by the municipal chief executive, to enforce the existing protocols or measures, and then to add on if it's necessary, especially with the Omicron variant around. And of course, I'm sure our enforcement officers will be more visible, because we know that during the Christmas time there is an influx of people into the major cities, so they will be doing more patrols and more education in public places so that we all help minimize the spread of COVID, and then we'll have an incident-free New Year, hopefully.
He further noted that with vaccine hesitancy, the Directorate is stepping up its education campaigns to have more people receive the COVID-19 vaccines.
You know, as you keep vaccinating, your numbers goes up. Then you get to a critical point where the very willing ones are done vaccinating. Then you start getting people who are a bit reluctant or hesitant to vaccinate, and that calls for stepping up our education. So that's exactly what we have been doing in the past week. We took a break from the vaccination to step up the awareness and the education. As I speak to you, there is another meeting going on in the Brunchempim Hall on vaccine hesitancy alone. These are all measures to step up the coverages for those who may not be so willing like the first numbers we had. So I've been impressed, but there is still more room for improvement.
Medical Director of the Techiman Holy Family Hospital, which is the largest referral center for COVID-19, Dr. Ernest Amiao, noted that the facility is collaborating with the media to increase awareness ahead of the Yuletide.
As media houses, we use them as medium or platforms to communicate and educate, particularly the preventive aspects of this pandemic. And that's how come it became necessary that we met the media today to brief them on measures we have taken as an institution or a hospital to stop the spread of COVID-19, and to also entreat them that as stakeholders, they will give us the opportunity to continue to come to their media houses to continue with the education that we are giving.
He further entreated the general public to ignore the various myths surrounding the vaccines and go for the jabs in order to remain protected against the pandemic.
I will entreat everybody to ignore the myth surrounding the vaccines and to go for the vaccines, because it will protect you, it will protect me, it will protect everybody, so we could curb this pandemic.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Techiman.
You're watching Joy News today. We will be back with some business. Stay with us.
What do I make of this new directive? Quite difficult. But if you look at what is happening around the globe, probably we have no option but to look at the best way for the country. For us as industry, it's painful because we all know that December is the best time of the year for us, but we always have to think about lives first before our profit or revenue. So yes, it's painful, but we believe that with the directive, we can adhere to it. It's not going to be that bad. We are hopeful that something will come out better for us.
Right, and like Sean Mendes points out, he says he doesn't think it will affect passenger traffic this Christmas. Are you as optimistic as he is? I know you say things wouldn't be that bad, but what do you think would be the potential impact, especially for those who are unvaccinated?
What is going to happen is there will be some level of, if you would say, negative impact. But I do not see it to be that of a high magnitude, because people are bent of traveling. They are really bent of traveling. So at least they have some space to get vaccinated. And I'm sure they will do that. Of course, some will cancel their flight, those who don't really want to get this vaccine. But the impact will not be that massive.
The state insurance company SIC has partnered the National Union of Ghana Students to ensure the education of union members against death of guardians. The product, dubbed Campus Secure, will allow students to pay a premium of 80 cedis every academic year. In the case of the demise of a guardian, the insurance will cater for the educational needs of the student. Nanaya Ojima was at the launch of the product and has come through with this report.
The leadership of NUGS says it is overwhelmed with requests from members for support in the payment of fees and accommodation, especially from members who lose guardians. They say some students are forced to drop out when the union fails to offer such support due to limited financing. Emmanuel Boachi Yadom is president of NUGS.
The demand, honestly, we can't quantify it. Yeah, because day in, day out, people pass away. Day in, day out, Ghanaian students need help one way or the other. Yeah, so most of the complaints has been coming through the local secretariat, and we realize, as the umbrella body, what can we do to curb this?
Students who register onto the scheme will receive financial support to cater for tuition, accommodation and feeding when the parent of the student is lost in the period. Some benefits will be accrued if the student dies in the period or suffers permanent disability. Emmanuel Sampene-Mensah is head of corporate and special risk at SIC.
I can even say payments are on real-time basis. But what we are doing is that payments will only be done through NUGS. And we have an arrangement with them that within a week, if there should be a claim and it has been certified that there is a true loss, we pay to enable the student to continue. Because when there are losses, that's where you see the student actually being in a limbo. And we don't want any student to be in a limbo. We want to make sure that they are able to go through the academic program. That's why the product has been designed. This particular product, you don't even need to be a student. Your parent can buy on your behalf. Because whenever you are buying for the benefit of your parent, and the parent is also buying for the benefit of the student. So it's nothing at all. 80 cedis for a year.
Through all digital platforms of SIC, students can easily register onto the product. Phyllis Osuansa is marketing executive.
Students are very tech trendy, and that is why SIC has also become tech trendy. So this product, you can get it on our WhatsApp and our Telegram platforms. The numbers were mentioned earlier on, 0555441485. So this numbers is very active on WhatsApp and Telegram. If you are a student under NUGS in any university in Ghana, you just have to contact this number and sign on to the policy.
For Joy News, Nana Yaojima, Kumasi.
And that's all in business. Stay for sports.
Let's do some sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Boxing referee and judge Michael Nikwe has advised former IBF lightweight champion Richard Kwame to move up in weight. According to him, the current weight division is not helping his quest for another world title.
It looked very, very dehydrated to me. Throughout the fight, you could realize you've seen that the legs were not that strong. It wasn't too strong. It didn't rehydrate well for the night of the fight. So I think that for me, advice I'm giving is for him to move to super lightweight. If that is a problem, he should move to super lightweight.
And you've taken the wind out of my sail, because I was about to land on that particular point about moving up in weight. So clearly, if Kwame should stay within lightweight, it could be problematic for him in the future, right?
Yeah, I think he's having problems with the weight. I think because he didn't gain enough strength on the fight night. Because throughout round 2 and 3, he was doing what he used to do. But I realized that the strength was not there. So I was of the view that he really struggled in the preparation towards the weigh-in prior to the championship night. So for me, I think he should move up in weight to probably. He's one of the best guys we have in Ghana.
And the chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, Kujet Fiano, has revealed his outfit is engaging government to relax the COVID-19 rules to allow at least 50% of spectators to match venues. He says the success of this quest is, however, dependent on the vaccination of the citizenry.
We've made a lot of inroads. We've been asking for an increase to 50%. But this COVID is something that we all don't have control over. The safety of Ghanaians is of more concern to all of us than our football. You try to increase the number, then you hear of a new wave. You try to do something about attendance. Then there's a new close collaboration with the health authorities, because we don't want to endanger the lives of Ghanaians. So I'm sure at the appropriate time, as soon as we get a signal from the health experts, we will increase it. But we cannot on our own decide to increase the numbers.
But the FA said no vaccination, no entry. How feasible is this policy?
I'm sure it has been practiced somewhere. I think I read somewhere in Europe that they also be doing that. I think we should encourage our members, or we should encourage Ghanaians to take the vaccines. I'm saying that human lives are very, very, very expensive. You cannot replace a human being. So if it is the vaccines that will help us, why not? Now, at the point in time, Ghanaians were not showing interest in the Ghana card. Let me veer off a bit in the Ghana card. But as soon as we were told that without Ghana card, your phones cannot work, now people are queuing for it. People are queuing for Ghana card. Now you can open an account with a bank without Ghana card. So people will be going for it. So if we are saying that, if we want to watch our games, we want the safety of our players, our technical team, and our fans. And we are saying that, don't you think that if I want to watch Haas and Kotoko, I want to watch Olympics and Haas, I want to watch Olympics and in Legon cities, Bibiani Gold Stars and the rest, and I need to take the job, and I'm a football fan, won't I take it? At the end of the day, you are saving your own life. So I think if something like that comes, why not? We will have to do it.
Just before we came on air, Arsenal have released a statement that they have stripped Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang of their captaincy armband, saying that he breached the rules and they expect their captains to lead by example. So Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the captain of Gabon national team, is no longer the captain of Arsenal. That is your sport for now, but I have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. Now, on the 24th of December, reggae and dancehall artist Samini will take the stage at the Grand Arena to give patrons an unforgettable experience. According to the Linda hitmaker, this event will be his best yet.
So far, everything is going well. Promo is going well. Patronage is going well. So I'm just looking forward to see all my fans out there, all my lovers, all well-wishers, everybody that's been part of the movement from day one. Come out there and let's celebrate me at 40. So I turned 40 on 22nd, and then the first show at as a 40-year-old would be on 24th. So come experience me and the new Samini.
I want to get what will be the different thing that Samini will be doing on stage, because I've seen Samini perform like countless times. I've been to, if I'm not mistaken, all the Samini Fest and all the events that Samini has been on, and I'm just wondering.
That's for you to come there. That's for you to come there, really, because I can't let the cat out the bag. But I can tell you that for my entire career, I've done shows on stage alongside other artists. I've done Samini Fest, which is my show, but open for a lot of other artists to come through, do different stuff. This is my first auditorium event, so this is my first full auditorium event. So that's the only thing I can tell you now. Everything else has to be for you to see where you're there.
Away from Samini, Christmas is almost here, and as we all know, children are the group of people who make the most of all the fun and festivities around the season. Well, the following report gives you an idea of how some children in Kumasi are preparing for the Yuletide.
Shop owners are restocking their goods, and this can only mean one thing: Christmas is here. Ahead of the festivities, parents get ready to make the season special for their kids. But how are children preparing for the celebration?
Last year, because of the COVID, we couldn't enjoy it. It wasn't so exciting. So this Christmas party, I want to enjoy. Oh, I want to buy my outing dress myself, because always my mommy always buy it to me. As for this Christmas, I want to buy it myself.
I'm excited because last year the Christmas wasn't so exciting.
Why?
Because we were like on lockdown. So, but this year we will be doing everything we usually do. And when it's night, we won't be doing that 1 hour those service. We'll be doing all service.
This year, dear, I'm planning to celebrate the Christmas well because I couldn't celebrate it last year. Like I wanted to celebrate it. And we had some shoes and some trowel and some shirts for me to celebrate the Christmas. And I'm saving some money to buy some toys.
I'm preparing for Christmas. I and my mommy, we are going for more. And you go there to have fun. And my friends, almost don't go here. I and my friends will be going there.
Every adult has New Year resolutions. Do children also have resolutions?
Next year, what I will do is that next year we will be.
Mama V, I'm looking forward to you taking me to the mall, China Mall specifically. That's what I want for Christmas, Mama V. And that'll be all for Showbiz here on Journeys today.
Well, counted done. Children don't ask for a lot, do they? No. That's it for Joy News today. We thank you for your company. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. And on behalf of the production team, we thank you for your company.